So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Aston. Hello, Aston Villa fans. For anybody listening on the audio podcast, that big audible was because I hadn't got the correct video set up. But welcome to this preview of Aston Villa versus Everton. This is going to be a shorter preview today. I said I'd just jump on. And essentially what I want to do today is, because we can all speculate and we can talk about injuries this, injuries that, and talk about, you know, who's going to start and who isn't going to start. But we do have players who are out injured at the moment. And I suppose one of there's a couple of things I want to kind of go through is in this, and just talking about how I feel, talking about what my mindset is currently at the moment. Because I think it's been a week, right? I think it's been a week that was it Monday? It was Monday. We were linked to Conor Gallagher. We were linked to Tammy Abraham. Conor Gallagher was nearly there, and then there was no Conor Gallagher. First thing to be worried about for Aston Villa fans. I will talk about the Aston Villa sphere on Twitter, and obviously I know that's not real life, and obviously it's nowhere near real life, and what you see on Twitter isn't even a window into real life. It's a modicum of a subset of a subset of a subset, and I know that's absolutely fine. But there was worry that why we're after being gazumped from this. What's going to happen? I hope they've got somebody else lined up. Why would we go in for him if we knew we weren't going to get him? Blah, blah, blah. That's fine. And that's cool. And people can feel like that because it was a massive talking point. Certainly was. And Aston Villa would have been a better team with Conor Gallagher. Then yesterday, it was Daniel Malin's being sold. What are we going to do? We've no other striker. Worry. There was a panic. There was an air of panic. Once again, on the window of a subset of a subset of a subset, which Twitter and social media is. There was a worrisome feeling over that. It was. Most people were worried. And then today we hear that Boubacar Kamara potentially could be out long term. Now we're going to listen to the exact wording that Unai Emery uses in a moment. So we're going to listen to the press conference, and that then more worry. So we've had 3 inflection points of worry this week, which is fine. And people can be as worried as they want. I am not going to say I'm worried. I'm pissed off to a lot of degree that we've had bad luck in the Conor Gallagher situation. I'm pissed off that we've you know what I mean by pissed off. I'm not like going to I wish it was different from the point of view of that we could have got somebody in and Daniel Malin went out on the same day. That hasn't happened so far. I do expect Tammy Abraham to be in early next week. And then the Boubacar Kamara injury, which we were thinking was only 2 weeks now, might be a small bit longer. We will listen to those wordings there. So we've had 3 kind of inflection points of negativity, I suppose, and potential worry this week. And we could do without it. But then again, saying that, I kind of woke up this, well, I won't say I woke up this morning because this news only came out midday, but you know, and I didn't wake up just at midday as well for anybody who was going to say, did you only wake up at midday? When the Kamara news came out, I got thinking and I was kind of saying to myself, look, it's about time we saw if Lamar Bogard was good enough to hold down that role for a 2 or 3 games stint. Now it's obvious, it's since transpired Onana probably will be back next week, which is good news because we're going into Thursday, Sunday after this week, which we do need reinforcements coming back into the field. So it looks like Onana will be back. But is Bogard up to the task this weekend against Everton? You have to think he is. He's in and around the team enough. Is it time for somebody like a George Hemmings to be capable? This would be what I think this is going to be something like his 6th game in a row on the bench. I saw that written down somewhere. I didn't clarify it. I didn't confirm it anywhere. I think it's something like his 6th game in a row on the bench. Should he be in a position whereby the game day is familiar enough to him that he could get 8 to 10 minutes at the end of a game? Let's see, can he hold up for 8 to 10 minutes at the end of a game? Same with Jim Oloba. I'm not saying we throw them in from the start. I'm not saying whatever that is, but there's going to be a solution to the puzzle. And Unai Emery has more often than not come up with those solutions. All you got to do is look at the 6th game of the season this year, as opposed to the first 5. He's come up with a solution to those puzzles, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does from that point of view. I really am. We're on a historic run of form at the moment. we're also on historic run of home form, and we do play this game coming up the weekend versus Everton at home, and I'm hoping that we can carry that in. But I'm not worried from the point of view of this game. I'm worried for fixture congestion, all right, but we have maneuverability. It seems. I saw Paddy sent me on a screenshot of something David Ornstein said about Daddy Ceballos. I don't know whether that's like Paddy sent me it on. I can only presume that David Ornstein has mentioned something about Ceballos. Would be a great addition. Obviously, I think Tammy Abraham comes in next week as well. But I think that we'll start to roll. I think things will start to roll soon. We're obviously going to get these guys back from injury. But the most pointed thing that I want to talk about here is that if you're worried about it, be worried about it. That's absolutely fine. But there's too much good going on with Aston Villa currently at the moment for me to get bogged down in worry. And I'm interested to see if Lamar Bogart is worth, if Lamar Bogart is worth the 23 million that Brighton are apparently willing to pay for him, well, then he should be able to step in against Everton at the weekend and prove his worth. And I think he has. And he has proven his worth for us this year at times. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play at the weekend. Would I prefer to have Kamara in there? I would, but you have a squad for a reason. And we are missing 3 midfielders, but our fifth man up, if you want to call him that, in Lamar Bogart, he just has to be as good as everybody else. And that's what Unai's motto is going to be, is next man up. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm also, as everybody says here, and I'm not just trying to be contrarian with this, I'm not just trying to have a different opinion to everybody, but I do think Evan Gassen gets a harsher rap than he deserves. Has he been brilliant? Absolutely not. But I think I've watched way too much of his time at Nice to think that he's being utilised incorrectly out in the right wing. Not saying that Unai is doing that on purpose. I'm not saying that Unai doesn't see where he could be utilised, but I think he's been utilised out there for a reason. We're obviously not getting that from him, I don't think, and I think Unai would say that. I'm hoping that at the weekend, Evan Gassand is our auxiliary number 9. I'm hoping that he's the person that goes into that number 9 position if Ali Watkins needs to come out of the team. And I think we'll see a different player there because, as I say, I watched quite a lot of his football at Nice, specifically after we were linked with him. I did my customary watched all his touches in 5 games, and then I've watched more of him since because I was kind of struggling as to why his right wing defensive performances were why Unai was putting him in that position, because I was like, I didn't see a player that played that position in Nice, and when he played up top as a number 9, he was a completely different player for Nice, and he played half the season last year as a number 9, and it's a completely different position, as we know. It's like you were to put Danny Ings out in the right wing and ask him to be defensive, you mightn't get as much of a tune out of him in that instance. Probably a bad example because he did play a right wing as well for Liverpool. But anyway, that's where I'm getting at. But you know what I mean? So, these people are going to have to sink or swim. And Unai is going to expect them to sink or swim because he's sold better players than these guys in shorter periods of time. And, if you're somebody that's not performing, come the end of the year, you will be shipped out. And even if you're somebody who is performing come the end of the year, you'll be shipped out if the PSR is on the table. So, it's if the PSR money is on the table or the SCR money is on the table. So, look, as I say, it's an opportunity to see that at the weekend. It's an opportunity to see a solution to the problem, see what solution to the problem Unai can come up with. And again, we need to build our costs our revenue before we build our costs at the moment. We're just about treading water. Actually, I think we're probably even over the limit for the UEFA SCR, but that won't kick in. We won't actually need to pay the piper on that till a lot later in the year, so I think we'll probably be fine by then. But from a PSR point of view, we're absolutely golden. And from next year's Premier League SCR point of view, we're more than likely golden as well there because they're 85%. So I think from a financial point of view, we're just trying to satisfy the UEFA SCR sanction pieces as well. And that's going to be a tricky juggling point. That's why we're not able to bring in X, Y, and Z. And to be honest with you, you know what? The team is doing fine. The team is doing fine at the moment. And I think if Unai Emery was given an opportunity, he probably would only be bringing in maybe the same amount of players that he is going to bring in anyway into this team. And I wouldn't expect him to go and sign 5 massive players for this team. He's going to sign the players that he wants. Obviously, we will have to adjust those for what we can afford, and let's see what the rest of the next 14, 15 or whatever it is, the 2nd of February, I think, is the close of the transfer window. Let's see what that brings from here on in. But anyway, preview for Everton, talking more about Everton. Yeah, as I say, Bogard is probably going to play. We're going to see Hemmings, Jimmy Oloba on the bench. We're going to see, we've got Tyrone Mings back, so we're going to see probably Tyrone Mings, Pau on the bench along with Garcia, Dina, so we're going to have options. We'll have an option to be able to move Lindelof out into central midfield if needs be, obviously. I would why not play a team of Lindelofs at the moment? He's just the greatest player in the world at this moment in time. Or he may even play him in that position anyway to start off. I would highly doubt it because he's shown a lot of faith in Bogard, and I would expect Bogard to play in that 6th position beside Tielemans. And I would expect us to go Buendia, Rodgers, McGinn with Ollie Watkins up top. And, as I say, the striker berth on the bench would probably be taken by Evan Gassand. He comes back in after the AFCON. And we're going to have Gassand, Sancho, the 4 lads I mentioned, the 4 defenders that I mentioned, and Hemmings, Jim Oloba, and probably 2 goalkeepers on the bench, or 1 goalkeeper on the bench, because I think I would have named 9 subs then. So look, we will have a squad of 20 that we will be familiar with at the weekend, I would imagine. And it's just a case of finding the names or finding the solution and the right Jenga pieces to put in the right areas for us to succeed against Everton, playing at home, and to keep this brilliant run of form going. And I think that he can absolutely do that with all the players I've named out there, because we've done it already this year with those players. We've done it already this year with those players. So that, I think that is something to hang our hat on. So I'm going to bring up the press conference here. Just give me a moment, actually, because I had it open and for some strange reason it's just quit on me. So let me just log in to Villa TV here, talk amongst yourselves, and I will log in here. We're going to play the whole press conference. I know the 21s are playing against Derby at the moment, and here we go. So the 21s are playing against Derby at the moment. So I don't know what the score is there. If anybody can enlighten me on that, that would be great. But we had no Brian Maggio there. I don't know, will he be in the squad? I doubt he will be. I did joke saying that, even though I got the day wrong, I joked that he might be in the squad, but I wouldn't imagine so. I think he's going to be an academy player for the time being, and that's fine with me. Here we go. So it is talk amongst yourselves, share the audio. Perfect. And let me make sure this audio is turned up, because the last time the audio wasn't turned up and it was quite a hard listen for some people. So I've got it turned up to the very last. I apologize if this isn't loud enough for everybody. Come on. Here we go. Rightio, let's play this and let's listen to Unai Emery.
Last January, you had a lot of success in the transfer window. Are you confident that you can repeat that this January?
Good afternoon. I want to speak more about Everton tomorrow. much more on Sunday. Sorry, not tomorrow, on Sunday. The transfer window is important, but it's not now our objective. We are working in it, and we did something. Of course, Malen left, and we are trying as well to do some deal. But the most important now, the player we have. The player we have, they are important. They are really protagonists now, and on Sunday they will need them to perform and to be focused and to help us to get 3 points. What's more?
I'll just stop it there. Like he came straight out the gap there and said, players we have, they're going to help us get 3 points. He knows what he has. He's confident in what he has there, and you wouldn't back himself as a manager in any other way. And I want my manager to back himself that way. There's a lot of easy words that can be spoken around the Premier League and go, oh, we had this injury, we had that injury, whatever. It's been spoken about Arsenal's injury crisis, and they continue to keep on going. Liverpool Well, no, I don't think Liverpool had an injury crisis, but you know what I mean. There's teams that have had injury crisis and they've used it as an excuse. We've a manager there. We've a figurehead. We've somebody who doesn't see that as an excuse from his side. We do see managers go to it as an excuse from time to time, and we have one that won't, and the reason he won't is because he's a very, very good manager, and he has belief in all these players. So more power to him. And why wouldn't he? Because he's been able to make a silk purse of a Sousier at times in all of his Aston Villa tenure. And we may go out and we may not win at the weekend. We may draw. We may even bloody lose. But the man's confident, and I think he should be. And I think he should be because he's a damn good manager, and he's made an omelette out of a lot fewer eggs than he has currently at this moment in time. Let's go on.
Do you need to know about transfer window?
I've got 2 questions, so I'll move on.
I'm not thinking in it. I'm really focusing the match. I need as well to refresh my mind.
Can I ask you then about injuries in terms of this weekend's game against Everton? We know that a couple of players are out, Kamara and...
Yes, Kamara, of course, is out. Kamara is out. He's not
Let's listen to every word here.
available. It's his knee. We are checking him, and as well he's visiting some doctors, and we are going to know about him in a few days. But is of course now is not available, and maybe for a long time. Hopefully not so long time, but we are checking him.
They're the quotes that have been attributed to him today. Pretty accurate across all the written media. I wouldn't expect anything less. We've got some really, really good written media, and John Townley, Matt Maher, and all those guys. They do a great job of relaying all that stuff, and anybody else that I've forgotten. So I think Unai Emery, I think it was clear to see in his face there. He said he could be out. He's going to see some doctors. We know in a couple of days' time. He could be out for a long time. And then he checked himself straight away and said, not so long, hopefully. Not so long, hopefully. But we'll know more about him in a couple of days' time. You could be taught. He initially said 2 weeks with regards to this. They may be looking at this. They may be looking and see what the situation is there. It could be cartilage. They might be saying, "Listen, can we get him to the end of the year, end of the season? You know, does he need to have surgery? Does he not need to have surgery? What's the best way to go about it here? Is it a sprain? Is it a twist? Is it a cartilage tear? What the story is? You know, so I'm willing to wait. A few days to see what the situation is in Boubacar Kamara. And as Unai Emery said there, I think he did check himself and said, not so long, hopefully. Not so long. You know, the broken English. You have to take into account the broken English here. Hopefully not a long time, not so long. You know, so I still don't really know what to make of it, but just looking at his face there, I think it's fair to say that when you see it written down, when you see him actually say it, I do think he checked himself. There. Maybe that could be wishful thinking on my behalf. I am a positive old soul. But look, we will see in a couple of days' time for Boubacar Kamara. Yeah, as I say, it's Lamar Bogart's time to shine. It really is. So let's go on.
And then Onana is not available for tomorrow. He's ruled out. Barkley as well ruled out. Both, they are progressing very well. In a few weeks, or maybe Onana even the next week, can be training with us. And Ross Barkley, he will need maybe some days more, but they are progressing very well.
There we go. Onana should be back soon. Once again, lessening the load of Kamara. That's the worry, I think. The worry that the people rightfully should go to as well is, shit, we're out with Kamara and we're out Onana. But Onana should be back next week. Hopefully he gets a few days. Probably won't be here for Fenerbahce. May not be here for Newcastle afterwards. But the cavalry is on its way. And who knows what kind of help we will have in between. And as I say, Lamar Bogart's time to shine. George Hemmings, get ready to play 10 minutes. If like, you can write as many column articles, and this isn't me having a go at anyone. Jesus, no, it's not, because I actually believe the same that Jacob Tanzo believes about George Hemmings. I think he's a really good functional player. I think he could make the step up to the Premier League. let's stop writing about it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's see it. Let's see if it is the case. Lewis Miley's 19 years of age. He's playing lights out for Newcastle at the moment. It's not unheard of for somebody to just come in, be able to take to it like a duck to water when somebody didn't expect it. Let's see if we've got 8 to 10 minutes in him. And like, I'm not saying you just do it just to prove a point, but if he's there, I have the confidence in him to throw him in.
Alisson is still being a little bit pain and not available normally for Sunday. And Emiliano Martinez is progressing well, but tomorrow will assess him if he will be available for Sunday or not. I think no more.
Hi, Unai. Congratulations on the Manager of the Month award. Well done. Everton have only lost one of their last 6 away games. You'll have had them watched. How tough a game are you expecting?
Great question, because David Moyes is doing really well away from home at the moment. So let's see what he says.
Yes, they are performing away very well and they are competing fantastic. They have some circumstances like 2 players they have involving in Africa Cup, and Way. And some player maybe they can be out to being injured or suspended, but I think they are competing fantastic. And they are team always difficult, and we respect them with the circumstances they have, because we have our circumstances with some players, and how we are being consistent and how we will need being consistent on Sunday to get 3 points in Villa Park is our objective. We are focusing this match after 10 days not playing matches in Premier League. Again, we must remind ourselves the importance of this competition is the priority for us, Premier League, and how we are now third, how we are competing as well to be in the top position, and how we must be demanding to keep it for the next month. Of course, they are behind us on teams, contender to be with us or to be in front of us, but we are until now, the day 22, we are playing on Sunday, and Everton is the next step forward. We must focus and to respect them, analyze them, and deeply prepare the match to beat them.
Again, an Unai Emery answer, if ever there was one. Yeah, we need to be very good to win 3 points. They're very good away from home. We need to prepare. We need to trust our process. Unai Emery in full flow there for that one. Let's listen on.
Everton stand in your way of a club record, 12 consecutive home wins. Do you and the players
Didn't know that.
Have you talked about it? Do you buy into setting that record?
Not. We are speaking about 3 points. We are speaking about how we must be focused individually and collectively the match we are playing. We are not feeling. We are not feeling something extra. We are feeling we need 3 points. Of course, winning 3 points, maybe we can get some new target for our matches in a row winning, but it's not the priority is to win. Of course, if we are winning, we are achieving it, but it's not the mentality we have. Our mentality is to focus each match with the point we have, with the competition we are facing, and get point we will need for our consistency in the top position in Premier League. Thank you.
I've got a question about January. The decision to allow Daniel Marlon to leave has surprised a few people. So could you just explain the thinking behind that, please?
Yes, obviously it's a decision, not easy, tough decision, but making sense. There are 3 parts involved in the decision. Firstly is the player. The player, he had his role. He was being important. He was helping us, scoring goals. Not being consistent in the starting 11, but for me was very important. And he knew it. And I spoke with him about it. is one part is the team and my decision about the team, about the player we have. Second part involving is the player. The player, he was happy and he was being protagonist, but not enough. Like
I love the way he calls him. He was being protagonist. He regularly uses the word protagonist, and I love it for somebody whose second language or maybe third or fourth language at this stage is English, to be able to throw out the word protagonist whenever you're stuck for a word. Fair play to you, Unai. Fair play to you. But look, he's talking sense here. Like he said, he had his role, wasn't getting an awful lot of minutes, wasn't breaking into the starting 11, and now he's on to talk about the player.
Like he wanted. And of course, the players, they are always in the possibility as well to change or to get a deal to leave from the club. And he opened his door to listen in case something can give him something better than us. And the last one is the club. And for the club, it's a good deal. When we decided those three parts involving to analyze it, for me, I prefer to stay here, but in case he was leaving like he did, we are ready to choose him and we are working out in it, and I accept it. And then it's good deal for the club and good deal for him. Okay, three parts involving and three parts involved in it and getting individually analyzing deeply each situation, we decided it.
Again, very, very fair analysis and very open and transparent. You know, very open and transparent. Like he didn't go through the whole. I could imagine that's how he sat down and told it to Daniel Malen and said, "Listen, you're doing great. Love you. You're coming in. You're coming off the bench. You're scoring goals. Your role in the team is to come off the bench. However, you're not breaking into the first 11. Roma have come in looking for you. There's Atletico Madrid on the table, on the phone to us as well, looking for you. What do you think? Both have come in with good offers. The club are happy with the offers they've come in with. But I'm going to be guided by you. What do you want? Yeah, I'd like to play more. I'd like to play more. I have a World Cup coming up. Came here to start, haven't really started. Okay, well, let's do it. It's a courageous. It's managerial courage. It's a courageous. It's a very kind of manly kind of conversation to have and say, look, this is the way it is. Let's talk about it. Let's trash it out. Let's see what it is. I'd imagine that's exactly the way the conversation went. Like, it's not always somebody coming in and going, I want to play more. Fuck you. You're being sold. Like, that rarely happens anymore. You know? And so that was my role play there. But yeah, I'd imagine there was conversations for some time on this. And what I mean by that is, like the Malin was saying, when am I going to start, boss? At the moment, your role is good. Then they get these offers in. They go, hey, come here. You know the way you're always asking to start? I'm not sure if you're going to be able to start in the short to medium term. This offer's come in. It's a good offer for the club. You know where we are financially at the moment. Would you be interested in it? Do you want to explore it more? Let's do it. We're not going to stand in your way. That gets you good karma. Players will, like, there's players and agents will turn around and go, thanks for not making it difficult, you know? And I don't know how the negotiations went down, but I could imagine it went that way because Unai and Damian don't seem to be roadblocks in situations like that, you know? They'll hold out for what they want, but they don't seem to be roadblocks. I think that's fair enough. Here, let's go.
Suits everybody, really, that deal. There's been some criticism lately about the subdued atmosphere at Villa Park the last few weeks. So how important is it that the fans bring the noise and the energy?
I wouldn't have asked this question.
I didn't feel it, really. But of course...
It's a nothing question. It's a question that you cannot get the answer you want from. This one. You just will never be able to get the answer you want from it. So here we go.
We need our great atmosphere in Villa Park, like we created... Since I am here, we created a really huge atmosphere with our supporters and energy. And we created here something special. And we were winning out of matches in a row 2 years ago. And now we are more or less involved in the same situation in Villa Park, and we need the supporters. If they are not transmitting their energy, if they are not transmitting their wishes and their strength as well, helping us, we are not feeling strong. But usually they are doing, and I am feeling it. And on Sunday we need them. Thank you.
Again, I'm not even going to comment on that. That's exactly how he was going to get there. It's just a, I don't know what the reporter was. You get two questions, and that you might as well have asked him, 2-ply or 3-ply toilet paper, Unai. It would have got more of a headline writing answer from that one. It's like, what's he going to say? He's hardly going to, I don't know.
Unai, you've spoken about some of the reasons why you allowed Daniel Marlin to go. In terms of replacing him, profile-wise, do you want someone who is a recognised central striker? You've been linked a lot with Tammy Abraham. I'm assuming you won't tell me that that's true or not. You can if you want. But profile-wise, is that the sort of play you want, a natural central forward?
I arrived here 3 years and a half ago, and it was as a striker in that moment only Watkins and Dan Ings. Dan Ings more or less something similar like now. He left because he had offered a good deal with another club. In that moment was the same situation. He was performing well.
I'm just going to pause it here. Cast your mind back to 3 years ago, and people were not happy we were sending Danny Ings. People were not happy we were sending Danny Ings. They thought we were getting the shitty end of the stick on that one. And we certainly didn't. 18 million looks like an absolute highway robbery for Danny Ings now. I'm not saying the same thing is going to happen with every striker we sell. But Ali Watkins has seen off Wesley. Okay, obviously Wesley was here before Watkins, but you know what I mean. Wesley was sold while Watkins was here, or was let go, should I say. Samatta, Danny Ings, John Duran, Daniel Malin. I don't think I'm missing anyone else. And if you think about it, the money we got for Ings was great. He took the offer to go to West Ham as well. Fantastic for him. The money we got for, I think we got 8 million for Samatta as well. I don't care who had any. I think it was 8 million. Someone can pull me up on that one if I'm wrong. If we did get that much from him, that's like a bonkers amount of money. What a great deal for the club. Obviously, we were never going to see him back at Villa again. 75 odd million for John Duran. Absolutely. We've come out with the clean end of the stick on that one thus far. Obviously, he's a young kid who could go on and win golden boots galore. But currently speaking, we've got the clean end of the stick on that one. And Daniel Malin is yet to be written. Now, Ollie Watkins isn't the perfect striker. We can all sit here and we can all say, how is he still kept there? Well, the reason he's kept there is because he scored, I think it's 82 Premier League goals for Aston Villa Football Club. And the rest of them haven't. And we can talk about missed chances or whatever else. But he scored 82 goals in the Premier League, the most goals we've ever scored. And you see, players have left the club in this period of time that Ollie Watkins is here, and they've got like, miss you, loved you at the club, going to really miss you, blah, blah. They've got all those posts from fans left, right, and centre. And when Ollie Watkins leaves this club, which could be soon, or could not be soon, it could be soon or could not be soon, there will be fans who will write about his one season where he missed 26 big chances. When the real story is that Ollie Watkins probably will leave this club as 100 goal in the Premier League striker, 100 Premier League goal striker. And you can feel whatever way you want about it, but that is something that we will have to wait a long time for a striker to break that, right? To break his record again. And they will break it. And another striker will come along, and another striker will break it, and another striker will break that other striker's record. And it's not going to be a case where we're going to be here all, we mightn't have to wait too long for that. But Ollie Watkins is our only striker at the club at the moment. And Ollie Watkins is doing exactly what that man on the screen wants him to do, week in, week out, year in, year out. And that's why that man is keeping Ollie Watkins at the club. And that's why those other guys outside of Malin, I'm going to say outside of Malin because I don't think he's in the same bracket as the other players that I've said. Outside of that, that's why they're not here. And the proof is in the pudding, I think. And people can feel whatever way they feel. This is me here saying anybody shouldn't give out about Ollie Watkins' missed chances. Give out about it all you want. I'm not telling anyone how to be a fan or anything like that. But if we sold Ollie Watkins in the morning and kept Daniel Malin instead of selling Ollie Watkins, I can guarantee you, give it 6 weeks, this man wouldn't be happy. Because this man likes Ollie Watkins. And Ollie Watkins has played very good football under this man and scored a lot of goals. And that's the business of football. Anyway, here we go. Let's press play.
He was a striker competing with Watkins, and we decided in that moment, and he decided that he needs to leave. We signed John Duran. John Duran in 2 years, he was progressing, he was adapting, he was performing, and he was competing with Ollie Watkins and getting numbers for the team. And last year we decided, because it's the same situation, 3 parts involved, and the deals and as well the decision about each one when he's leaving or staying with us. And he left. And we signed on loan Rashford as a winger striker. And we signed as well Malin as a winger striker. And now, after 1 year performing, helping us, Donald Malin, playing as a striker or as a winger, we need the same situation we had the last 3 years, one player competing with Ollie Watkins. The priority is someone as a central attacking player, striker, with the characteristic as a striker, and compete with Ollie Watkins, or maybe even can play with Ollie Watkins like Malin was doing, Rashford not, John Duran was playing sometimes as well together. We need one player more or less substitute. And now Malin left, with another player can help us in getting as well and helping with numbers in the squad.
You said,
and that's pretty much outlined it. You know, we want another striker and he wants to push Ollie Watkins. We want somebody to play push Ollie Watkins, coming alongside Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins isn't, like, he's going to break. Like, arguably he's breaking down already. Some people in the comments were saying that he's going to be gone this summer. I think this summer is probably too soon, unless he wants to go this summer. But I think he might be phased out from this summer. I think if the opportunity to sign another striker on top of Tammy this January comes in, I think he'd like to keep 3 strikers, or maybe he gets that other like Rashford type striker that he mentioned there as well. I don't know. Let's see.
You said it was a tough decision to let Daniel go, and that part of the reasoning was you have to think for the club's best interest. Because of the financial rules, will that always be a part of your time at Aston Villa, that there are players you don't want to lose, but from a business
Super
perspective,
question.
We did it. I explained it, I think, clearly why Malin is leaving. And now we have as well one gap in the financial fair play as well to sign another player replacing him.
There we go. They cut him off. I wonder did he say anything else after that? But I don't think he would have. Anyway, that's the press conference. That is Unai Emery's press conference, and we listened to it word for word there. And yeah, as I said, I find that in a way cathartic sometimes to listen to him. You know I probably went in too much there. And for those of you listening to this on Spotify, you know, especially when I mentioned about look at his face when he went and he checked himself and said, not so long. I think that's a lot. That's context. Now, it may turn out that he is out for a bit longer, but that's context that written word can't tell you, you know, as well. So I think it's always good to watch those pressers, specifically when you get big bits of news like that as well. Save for the question about the fan atmosphere in the stadium. I think it was I think that was that was as informative as conferences will go with Unai Emery. I think he gave some good insight, and I think he was pretty transparent in around transfers, what went into the transfer dealings, in and around the injuries and so on. And yeah, I think that can be a good thing as well. So listen, guys, I know that we've got a couple of more days before the Everton game. I might come back again tomorrow if there's any proper transfer links in the next couple of hours, as I say, between now and the Everton game. We'll come back and we'll do something maybe very, very short tomorrow, just to kind of keep in the swing of things, I suppose, with podcasting. But we will be here for Team Sheet Tantrum and a post-match podcast on Sunday for the Everton game as well. So hopefully you will join us for that. But in the meantime, everybody, thanks a million for watching. Give us a thumbs up, share it out, tell your friends about the podcast. And, once again, as I say as well, we get nearly everybody that's watching this here now at this moment in time is watching on YouTube. If you could go over onto your podcast platforms and just click on the follow, whatever it is, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, that's just great for us. It throws us out there as well in the audio platforms. Because would you believe there's about, like, when we look at the amount of listens we get on the audio side of things and then the views we get on the YouTube side of things as well, it's pretty similar. So like, a lot of people think, all podcasts, we just watch them on YouTube, but there's as many people listen to them on audio, and we want to get thrown out there as well, if we possibly can, because like there's a lot of people who are probably working in the cab of a truck or something like that and can't have YouTube on, so they turn us on Spotify or whatever podcast app is there. So please go click on follow and that as well. I'd really, really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow if there's any news, if there's anything concrete on a link with regards to Ceballos, or if Tammy Abraham link breaks tomorrow or whatever. If he is in Birmingham and he does get paraded around on Sunday, we'll be here to talk about the potential. How is he going to walk is he going to walk all the way around the stadium, or is he just going to go out into the middle of the field, or what's the story? We will try and break down whatever we possibly can with regards to that, Tammy Abraham, if something more concrete does come out. But in the meantime, everybody, thanks a million as always for watching. Hopefully the rest of your Friday night goes brilliantly. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the villa.